Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to Farm Simulator 2017. Welcome back to Upton Farm. So there have been some developments. First thing is, as you can see, I went ahead and compacted this last night. We're at 100%. We have a total of 450 tons of chaff. So I'll go ahead and blanket that and let that start cooking. And I'll show you something interesting. Maybe it's interesting. I don't know. I think it is. So on the map here, there was some other grass that we had to harvest down here. Down near field 48, which is the grass field we accidentally bought. I believe this one was still available. And I think these two sort of public fields behind the grain buy had come back to level 1, right? So we could have gone back in here and got just a little bit more grass out of these. Well, what I noticed was when I turn them on, so I go in and I make it show grass, these are all knocked down now. All the grass on the map has been knocked down to stubble and will remain so until next spring. I'm beginning to think something about seasons may be a little bugged out, at least on this map, because this is showing our grass is still available to harvest all the way through late winter. We're only running, I did double check, and we're only running one weather for seasons. I know sometimes if you put two weathers in simultaneously, it'll cause some problems, but it seems to be causing some problems. So what I did was I had some equipment out. No, don't want to jump. We want to get in. I had some equipment out to do a little bit more mowing, and I went ahead and parked that up. I also finished up on the east side of the map. We went ahead and power harrowed field 26, returned that harrow because it was rented. We went ahead and took that back, and then I put all the equipment back on the farm. So the JCB and the tipper, right, that Weston tipper that's over there, is back on the farm, and the T7 and the seed drill is also back on the farm. So the only thing that's still out right now is this T6 with the broadcast spreader on it. And what I'm going to do is take this over. We got the clamp covered, so that can start fermenting. I'm going to take this over to the sheep because they need water. So I'm going to quickly come over here, grab their tank. It may have a little bit of water in it. If it does, I'll just water them from that. If it does not, then I will drive down to the dairy where there is a spigot. There's a faucet down there, and we will fill them from that. So yeah, I'm a little, I don't want to say disappointed, maybe disappointed. It's not the end of the world, but I feel like between what just happened with the grass and what happened with the soybeans, I'm wondering if something about crops isn't a little bit bugged out. Not a big deal if it is, not the end of the world. It's just something we'll have to work around. We do have 450 tons of silage right now, or chaff, which will ferment into silage, and that's about 250 grand. We were broke, so I had to extend our loan back to 400,000 pounds. Okay, there's 450 liters of water in here. So let's see what this does for the sheep. This could be, I don't think it's going to fill them, but let's see what this does for them. It nearly does fill them. So we'll just leave it, and we're going to hop back in the T6 and drive over to, I guess, the grass fields down by the grain buy, and we're going to spread those, and then I'm going to call it an episode, and I will advance to spring off camera because there's really not a whole lot going on in the winter. I mean, I guess, well, I take that back. What I might do is bring it back when we unclamp the silage and start to throw that in the hopper, and what I can do is just make kind of a like a light episode where we just throw a little bit of silage in the digester and make a little bit of money. And I guess we would also probably have to take care of the sheep. Although we're doing that right now, and it's really, there's not a lot to it. Taking care of dairy and even pigs is more fun than taking care of sheep, because all you really do is just give them grass. Give them grass and water. So you know what I mean. If it looks like there's anything going on in the winter that I think would be remotely interesting to see, I'll go ahead and bring it in for that. But I have to say it most likely will not be the case. So I'll just take it all the way forward to spring, and we'll pick up from there. And we'll see if we can get out of debt. Now, once we sell all the silage, we should be at about negative 150. And I was hoping to get another 100 to 200 tons of grass in there, chaff, which would be worth another 50 to 100,000 pounds. And that would have really had us teed up for spring, because remember, we're going to do grass again first thing in the spring. Well, first thing in the summer. As soon as we have a full growth of grass to mow, and we'll have 3 layers of fertilizer on all our grass fields. So as soon as we have grass to mow proper, we'll mow that and get it in there. And we should theoretically be able to get another 200 to 300,000 pounds from the BGA. And that will put us definitely positive by next summer. We don't have a combine. We sold our CR 9.90, which I feel in hindsight was probably the smart play, and I'm glad we did that. But we won't have a combine harvester, so we'll either need to buy or rent one next fall. And also remember, we didn't get anything from our soybeans. So I don't want to plant a whole map of just wheat, barley, and canola, but I'm a little bit reluctant to commit to soybeans until we know that we're going to be able to harvest them. So that's what's going on for right now, but we'll go ahead and finish up for today. And I'm just going to spread a little bit of fertilizer, and then we'll call it an episode. And I will start moving forward off camera, and if I get to anything that's interesting, I'll go ahead and stop what I'm doing, record that, and bring it in as an episode. But if nothing interesting happens, then I'll just go all the way through till the first day of spring, and that'll be our next episode. So we'll see. Things are always kind of free form on the farm, kind of open-ended, right? We have a basic plan, but we're not getting too hung up on things going exactly this way or exactly that way. That's half the fun of this game. Is it's not unpredictable. I wouldn't say it's unpredictable, because it is pretty predictable. I mean, we do just about the same things every episode, but we do them in slightly different ways, and every season and every farm is a little bit different, and there are some surprises. So not predictable, familiar. How about that? That's a better word for it. We do some familiar activities. We do some things in the same way, but how we actually do them is always different. I really like that. Okay, and here's I just saw field 40 on our left is going by. I remembered when we harvested our canola from the 3 fields around the farm, we haven't done anything with these yet. We haven't cultivated them. So that may be, right, that may be something we can do between now and next spring. As long as the soil's not frozen, we can work. And we don't have, oh man, I don't want to spend any more money. We're so far upside down right now. But we're making digestate at the BGA, and we're not spending a ton on fertilizer, but we sort of are, because we're using all pellet fertilizer out of this broadcast spreader, and also pellet fertilizer out of the front tank on the Lemkin when we drill. We can fertilize that way also. So we're not spending a ton. Man, they just keep working outside this hotel I'm in. They just keep working right outside. So we're not spending a ton, but we are spending a ton. And the thing is, we have all that digestate now that we can use to fertilize fields. The only thing is, to spread it, we would need to spend probably 50 or 60,000 pounds on a slurry spreader. And that gets to be one of those economic questions, like, does it make more sense to spend 60,000 pounds so that we can use something that we got for free? Or does it make more sense to spend 10,000 pounds on fertilizer to use in a broadcast spreader that we already own? You know, you're talking about a delta of positive 50K, right? You see what I'm saying. I'm going to go third person here. We'll see what we've got as far as... Now, I don't need to do this right now. I could do this next spring because we can't harvest this stuff anyway. We can't mow anyway. But I just feel like, you know, while we can, let's get it done and just have it done for next spring. It's one less thing to do in the spring, and we can focus more on drilling. And you know what, maybe we will save like field 40. Maybe we will save that well, we don't have a cultivator. We have that Lemken power harrow. So maybe we'll just power harrow next spring instead of trying to do it now. I don't know. Part of me likes to get everything done that I can, but that's when I'm running my own farm. And I think, you know, as I'm recording these, I don't necessarily want to do everything now, because then in the spring we have less to do. If that makes sense. Right? So what am I going to do next spring if I do everything now? All we'll have to do is drill crops. And that's not always fun for like 3 episodes in a row. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We always do. And I think I'm just going to do this field to our right, to our immediate right now, and then I'll park up and call it an episode. And it looks like we've got potatoes planted over here. That is not my field. So, I don't know if there is such a thing as winter potatoes, but it looks like one of the local farmers has those planted. So, who knows? Definitely for sale. Right. So we'll get this spread. And the other thing about slurry spreaders on this particular map is I've used boom spreaders, and they're really, really tricky with these irregularly shaped fields. So I think we're going to need to go with like a nozzle sprayer rather than a boom sprayer, because a boom sprayer can be kind of tedious with all these trees and funny shaped fields. So we'll see. We got time to think about that. And I'm hoping that by next summer we can be out of debt, because we do. I mean, if we get into dairy, well, first off, we have to buy cows, and that's going to be £500,000 if we want to buy a decent dairy. You know, I feel like you have to buy enough animals that their reproduction actually means something. You know, if you buy, it's like if you buy 10, they're not really making enough milk to sell to make any money, and they're also not making enough more cows to start growing your dairy. So it's just kind of, I don't want to say it's a waste, but it's really slow going. You know, it's like it takes so long for anything to happen. So I'd rather, you know, it's that same thing. It takes money to make money. If you take out a bank loan to buy a bunch of dairy cows, you'll make more money with them and be able to pay off your loan faster than if you just take out a tiny loan and buy, like, say 10. You know, you'll be able to pay off that loan fairly quickly, but you won't be making any money. Even after you've cleared that debt, you won't be making any money from those dairy cows. Versus borrowing £500,000 and buying 100. Although that it'll be different for us because we need to buy the dairy cows, and we also need to buy equipment for them. We'll need to get a teeter, a rake, and a baler. So we'll probably buy, if we take out $500,000 in loan, we'll probably buy 50 dairy cows, and spend the rest on equipment. So, but we have till next summer to sort that out. We're also hopefully going to be making some money from wool at some point. Right, let's call it. I will show you where we're at as far as... So we just put a third layer of fert on these down here. And then in the center here, 48 and these 3 public fields, I guess. We can throw a second layer on here, and then I believe we might be able to throw a third layer on the 2 fields that we own by the farm. But I'll do that off camera. And then on the east side of the map, everything over here has 2 layers, with the exception of the 3 fields that we've drilled, and those have the third layer. So we're getting teed up for spring, and like you saw, we just covered the BGA. So we got 250 grand waiting in there. As soon as that cooks, and we can start to unload it into the digester. Did I say that right? Yeah, unload it into the digester. Yep. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 2017, and we will see you next time. Take care now.